Jacaranda FM's Good Morning Angels on Breakfast with Martin Bester.
Our special guest in studio this morning, Nazree de Lange, 30-year-old mom of two and a passionate maths teacher, I believe, at a school in Reiche Park on the East Rand. Thanks for coming into the studio. How are you?
I am well. I can't complain. I am shell-shocked. I can definitely say I'm a bit shocked because...
Why?
Because I wasn't expecting this. I was expecting a table with like 4 people and then questions and answers, not a round table with radio presenters.
Everybody who comes in here, they get that wrong. They invited in for an interview, but they didn't think it's going to be an surprise. Nazree, tell me a bit more about yourself.
So initially, if I can give you a backstory, initially I got accepted for maths and science and went through some trauma in matric. My matric results suffered because of it, and then I had to take whatever there was. So I went to go see a consultant at the university, and they said, look, if you do business and economics, then later on you can do your postgraduate.
Right.
And I was devastated. I went to Second Ave. Reluctantly, I went. But I was so determined that I'm gonna study, I'm gonna make this dream come to reality. Finish my 3 years national diploma in economics. And then I went overseas.
Cum laude.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I did my postgraduate in education for business and economics. And because economics has so much to do with mathematics, I ended up specializing in mathematics. So now I teach maths.
That is amazing.
Wow.
And tell me about this school in Reiche Park.
So this school, I am originally from Port Elizabeth. I taught at a school on the farm in Kirkwood.
Kirkwood?
Yes, I taught in Kirkwood. And my husband is working on the side, so it was long distance, so we couldn't do the long distance anymore. So I packed up and I said, look, I like the East Rand. We know some people that side. So we're going to start from the furthest school away and work our way in.
Okay.
About 30, 40 CVs that I have in my hand. And I go to this one school in Reiche Park and I hand it in. And the guy's like, come, let's go into the office. And I'm all chatty. We're both chatting. And he calls my district. He calls his district. And they have some mutual agreement that I finish off in Feb there and start the 1st of March. And that's how I ended up. But I prayed and I asked the Lord, send me to a school that needs me. That is where I want to go. That is, I want to be a place where I'm needed, where what I can bring to the table can be used.
Yeah.
And that was the first school.
And once again, teaching, onderwys is 'n roeping.
Ek stem heeltemal
That's
saam.
something you try.
Yeah.
You love your job, right?
I do many at the end of the term 4, then I'm like, is this for me? I'm like, I'm not going back. I'm going to become social media famous. I don't know how, but I'm going to leave my job. And then every year I think about those kids that don't have moms, they don't have dads, they're living by grannies, they're living by aunts, they're living by sisters. I work for those kids. That is who I work for.
And you mentioned trauma and matric. Did you use all of that as motivation?
Definitely. And I try and share the story as often as possible.
Okay.
Because so my previous school I worked at a high school, but when we moved to Joburg, I was very determined to work at a primary school because primary school allows more family time.
Yes.
High school is very demanding. And I said later on, I'll go back to high school because that is my specialization. And when I spoke to the matriculants and I speak to the grade 11s, I tell them, don't give up. If you have a grade 9 certificate report, you can go to college and get some sort of trade. I always tell them, and then from there you can further your studies, because once you're done at college, you have your matric as well as a specialization in some sort of trade. So I try and encourage the learners to not always just think, okay, university. I said university, not everybody's path is the same.
Got you.
So I say, I know some people that's gone to college and they earning crazy through the roof because they just follow their specialization through the college and further their studies. So I try and share this as far as possible.
And you just want to keep studying. That's why you wrote to us.
Yeah.
Tell me about what you want to do next at is it NWU?
Yes.
Northwest
So
University. Where is that?
Bukka.
Yeah.
Where?
Potchefstroom.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So I am looking at studying. So I applied last year. So if I give you backstory, I actually applied 2 years ago. And then I found out I was pregnant. And I was like, you know what? There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm going to try and do this while being pregnant and still working. So I left it for the next year. Then I applied again last year at NWU. So I want to go and study curriculum design. So curriculum design has got to do with the actual curriculum, what gets taught within the school. As a maths teacher, I know, I've been teaching maths now for 6-7 years. I know the problems. I see the problems. I see where children fall short, where they fall short in the foundation phase, especially teaching primary school. So I see those shortfalls. And sometimes I feel that it's better to ask somebody that's in the room
Absolutely.
than to ask somebody that's outside of the room
Yeah.
to help alleviate some of those issues.
And those are things we don't often challenge.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought, are the curriculums actually designed for modern children, if you will?
Yeah.
Is it helping? Is it done right?
I sent my child to an educational psychologist just a few days ago. And there are so many kids who are, quote, COVID kids.
Yeah.
So these last
Definitely.
2 years have missed fundamentals, especially when it comes to maths. It's
Yeah.
one of the big ones. So
Yeah.
we need you.
And I just spoke to a colleague of mine about the missing middle. They are the missing middle. So when COVID happened, COVID spanned over 2 years. And it was affected. So we have an amended curriculum right now that we're teaching right through, from grade R up until matric. So when I speak about the missing middle, those are the kids that they did not focus on. They focused on foundation phase, your grade 6, 7, and 8, and your matriculants.
And then there's those grade
There's the
3s and
missing
4s,
middles.
Yeah.
We are speaking about grade 9, grade 10,
Yeah.
grade 4, grade 5.
Five,
But those learners are now in grade 7 and grade 8. So they have suffered and lost out at least a year and a half of school.
Sure.
And I'm speaking about in government schools that
Sure.
that couldn't cater to accommodating all of those learners.
Yes.
Because government schools have many kids and social distancing wasn't possible.
Yeah.
So they had to come to school on every bi-daily or bi-weekly.
Yes.
Staggered, yeah.
So there was a whole system. So those are the kids that are now in grade 7 and grade 8.
Don't you love how obediently we are listening, how she's commanding the room? You need to be going and doing this. You're in the right line of work. Be mense. Listen, and so thank you for writing to us. So obviously being a teacher, a mom, everything else that goes with it, you wrote to us because you would like the funding to go and do this course.
Yeah,
This course,
definitely.
right? So thank you for writing to us. How amazing and inspiring meeting you. It really, really is.
Thank you.
I want to introduce you to a good friend of the show, Dave Arnold. He was representing Willard Batteries. And man, they believe in people and they believe in education. And we need to get her to be doing all this. Dave, how are you?
Hi, Martin. Hi, team. Yeah, Nazree, I must say, when you walked into the studio, they've got this aura around you. Bubbly personality, lovely smile, and I can see that education is more than just a job for you, which is so important. It's a calling. And you do so much more than teach maths. I think you give guidance and you give support in whatever the case may be. And well done for that
Thank
dedication and focus. So from the Willard Batteries Bursary Fund for this year, we want to take that worry away from you for the studies and the costs associated with that. We're going to contribute the 30,000 Rand that you require to do your studies this year. and just keep on doing the stuff that you do, because people like you in society just make a huge difference, and we'll be monitoring you and keeping in touch with you as you carry on with your journey. Thank you very much.
Aren't you glad you came for this interview?
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with round tables.
Yeah.
Go and chase that dream and keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
And thank you for doing what you're doing for the kids. Thank you for seeing them and saying, I can make a difference.
It must be
Yeah.
so inspiring to have a teacher like this in the
Yeah.
classroom as well.
Absolutely.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, and I hope nobody listens to me on the radio because I told him I'm going to Potch today.
Kind of like Posh.
Think your phone's ringing. Yeah.
So I will definitely go and update them because I don't want to be caught out.
Teachers are so honest.
Yeah, the dog ate my homework.
Because they will definitely hear this.
Listen, love to everybody there at
Thank you.
Recha Park at the school.
Yeah.
And to your family, and all the best.
Thank you so much.
Jacaranda FM's Good Morning Angels on Breakfast with Martin Bester.